Lately, you may feel tired of everything, not exhausted in your body, but tired in a deeper way. Life looks fine on the surface, nothing is falling apart, yet your energy feels low. Things that once excited you now feel dull. Conversations feel heavy, plans feel draining. You still show up, you still function, but something inside feels worn down. This kind of tiredness is confusing because rest doesn't seem to fix it. You sleep, you take breaks, but the heaviness stays. You may start questioning yourself. Am I lazy? Am I unmotivated? But this is not laziness. Laziness avoids effort. You are still trying. This tiredness comes from carrying too much for too long, not physically, but emotionally. It comes from constantly adapting, constantly responding, always being on. Over time, that effort accumulates, and eventually, your system says, enough. This fatigue does not announce itself loudly. It shows up quietly, as indifference, as numbness, as a lack of desire. You may feel disconnected from things you used to care about. This can be unsettling because you don't recognize yourself. But this phase is more common than you think, especially for people who are responsible, who carry emotional weight. Feeling tired of everything is not a failure. It is a signal. This tiredness is not physical exhaustion. Your body may be fine, but your nervous system is overloaded. You may feel mentally foggy, emotionally flat. This happens when there is no space to fully rest internally. True rest is not just stopping activity, it is stopping pressure. Pressure to perform, to meet expectations, pressure to be productive, to be available. When that pressure never lifts, fatigue becomes emotional. You may notice that even small tasks feel heavier than they should, not because they are hard, but because your inner reserves are low. This fatigue often appears after long periods of pushing through. You kept going, you adapted, you ignored subtle signals until your system slowed itself down. This slowdown can feel like loss of drive, but it is actually protection from further depletion. Your body and mind are not failing you. They are trying to preserve you. This is why forcing motivation makes things worse. Pushing harder deepens the fatigue, because the issue is not effort, it is alignment. Your energy is asking for recalibration, not more discipline. When emotional fatigue is ignored, it turns into numbness. But when it is acknowledged, it becomes clarity. Clarity about what drains you and what doesn't. There is a specific kind of tiredness where nothing feels worth the effort anymore. Not because you don't care, but because caring has become heavy. You still want things to be meaningful. You just don't have the energy to pretend anymore. Pretend to be enthusiastic. Pretend to be motivated. Pretend that everything is fine when it quietly isn't. This is not apathy. Apathy feels empty. This feels full, too full, full of unprocessed emotions, full of expectations you kept meeting. Over time, constantly meeting expectations without checking in with yourself creates emotional fatigue. You start living on obligation, not desire. Obligation drains faster than effort, because effort can be meaningful. Obligation rarely is. This is why rest alone does not restore you. Because what you need is not sleep. What you need is relief. Relief from pressure. Relief from self-demands. Relief from constantly proving that you are okay. When this relief is missing, even simple decisions feel exhausting. Choosing what to eat, what to say, where to go. Everything requires energy you no longer have. This is not weakness. It is a nervous system that has been active for too long. You are alert, responsive, available, and now your system is asking for a different rhythm, not stopping, just slowing without guilt. This is often the hardest part, because slowing down feels irresponsible to a mind trained to push. But slowing down is not giving up. It is recalibrating. Recalibration happens quietly. You may notice a loss of interest in things that once mattered. This does not mean they were wrong. It means they belonged to a different version of you. Outgrowing interests can feel like losing yourself, but it is actually a sign that something new is forming. Formation requires space, and space feels uncomfortable before it feels clear. This is why this phase feels so confusing. You are not broken. You are between versions, between an old pace and a new one. If you allow this space without rushing to fill it, energy begins to reorganize, not dramatically, but steadily. You may feel moments of lightness, small ones, moments where breathing feels easier. These moments are important. They show you that energy is returning, not from effort, but from alignment. Feeling tired of everything does not mean you need to quit your life. It means you need to reset your pace, not dramatically, not all at once, and just enough to breathe again. This phase invites simplicity, less pressure, less forcing, more honesty. Honesty about what no longer feels right. You may not have answers yet. That's okay. This is not a decision phase. It is an integration phase. A time to listen rather than act. When you allow yourself to slow down, energy begins to return naturally, not as excitement, but as steadiness. You start noticing small relief, moments of calm, moments of clarity. These moments guide the reset. You don't need to fix everything. You just need to stop overriding yourself. This tiredness is not the end. It is a pause before a quieter, more honest way of living emerges. And when that happens, motivation returns, not from pressure, but from alignment. Feeling tired of everything is not weakness. It is wisdom asking for space. And when you give it space, life slowly begins to feel lighter again.